What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And today I'm going to be breaking down every move that every NFL team made this offseason. We have a lot to do. It's going to be a longer type of video, so let's get right into it, man. Alright, first up, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks, they regained some of their players that they had back in the day, but they mainly signed Geno Smith to a 3-year, $75 million deal, and it could go up to $105 million with incentives. Alright. Julian Love signed also. He brought back Bobby Wagner and Reed, the D tackle. And then Devin Bush also signed a 1-year deal, so that's, Devin Bush could make something happen. But the biggest deal out of all this is Geno Smith. What does that deal mean for Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks? Well, it really means that he's really there for 2 years out of the three. The first year, obviously, this year, he's getting paid 10 mil. But the second year, he's really getting paid $31 million. And the third year, 33. But you have, a bailout on that final year. His contract, you only lose $8 million in dead cap, so you could very easily cut him in that third year. So he's legitimately gonna be like a guidance guy, a veteran. I don't want to call him like a veteran quarterback, even though he is, but he's gonna be sort of this mentor role, And I mean, that's what the NFL should be thinking at this point. That the Seahawks are looking to draft, especially when they've been at these quarterbacks pro days. But the Seahawks are 100% looking to draft a quarterback this year, to have him sit behind Geno Smith, learn their offense, and just develop in 2 years. They're not going to play their rookie year, they're not going to play their sophomore year, but they will play in their third year. I mean, they might play in their sophomore year, but they probably won't start off, because you will have 31 mil on the bench, and I'm pretty sure you won't want that. You would just want Geno Smith to still have the lead act, unless that quarterback you draft is really, coming up and you think he gets a shot, or he's ready, like really ready to go. So that's the only way that I think a rookie will start, if they're really progressing extremely, to take away that role from Geno Smith. And yeah, so Geno Smith's gonna be your guy for basically 2 more years as a mentor. And then for the 49ers, the 49ers had a solid offseason. They got Hargrave from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's on a big contract, a 4-year, 84 mil, was 40 guaranteed mil. They also signed Sam Darnold on a 1-year contract. They re-signed Gibson, and they added a former 4th overall pick in Fowler. No, isn't that Fowler? Yeah, isn't it Farley? I'm stupid. Who's Fowler? Oh, Dante Fowler. That's the Cowboys guy now. I don't know why. I don't know why I said that, but Farley on a 1-year deal. So the big takeaway from the 49ers is that Hargrave is going to be the main man there for the years to come, but he's a really good interior pass rusher, And I said on the free agent video that I had that he's gonna go to a team where he's not the main guy, where he has another elite pass rusher alongside of him, So he doesn't have that to take the double team, He's good on one-on-one, and he's gonna get that interior pressure. And then Sam Darnold signing that 1-year deal truly to me means that we're not going to see Brock Purdy this year. That injury that he suffered against the Philadelphia Eagles, ironically, is really bad. And, they keep saying that oh, he's gonna come back this time, and then they're like, oh wait, he's gonna come back later, and then they're like, oh wait, he's gonna come back even later, and signing Sam Darnold to me just means we're not gonna see Brock Purdy at all this season, because you have Sam Darnold now, you still have Trey Lance, who was your second overall pick at one point, so yeah, I highly doubt we see Brock Purdy this year. And this is coming from a guy that legitimately predicted Brock Purdy was going to take over that role as a 49er. I said that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get hurt. Trey Lance is either going to suck or he's going to get hurt. And he kind of, in a way, did both. But Jimmy G was a given. He was going to get hurt this year. He always, that's his thing. He's getting hurt every year. I was like, Brock Purdy's about to steal that job. And he kind of did. But he's hurt right now, so he's going to have to sit on the sideline this year, heal up, get 100%, come back fully healthy, and hopefully he balls out. All right, the Rams. The Rams, the Rams, the Rams. I feel bad for Rams fans, man. Coming off a Super Bowl, you were hoping for, something way better than what's going on right now. Nothing but negatives for the Rams, man. The Rams lose Jalen Ramsey, who is still a top 5 corner in this league, and you only get back a third round pick, and tight end, where a tight end position you already have your guy. You already have a guy at that position, so only a third round pick, and it's just a bad look for the Rams right there. And then you obviously re-sign some guys. You're in cap hell, so that's only the reason why you trade Ramsey's, because you're in cap hell. And then right now you're currently trying to get rid of Allen Robinson. There's been no bites so far on Allen Robinson. It might stay that way. Or, yeah, I think it really is going to stay that way because there's so many good young receivers in this year's draft. It's like, why would I trade for a guy who's older and who's on a really big contract? And it's just like, well, I could just get a rookie. So it's that kind of thing. Nothing but negatives for the Rams. For the Cardinals, they're kind of in the same boat in the way they're just kind of in a mess. They're just messed up. Kyler Murray, he tears ACL. Kingsbury's out. You re-signed some of your guys. You added Zach Pascal on a 2-year deal. Nothing too crazy. And you added Kaiser White. I like that Kaiser White for a 2-year, 10 mil. That's a steal. Kaiser White's Kaiser White is a legit middle linebacker. He kind of flew under the radar for the Eagles, but if you look at the stats, man, that man put up crazy stats for the Philadelphia Eagles, and yeah, that's a pretty big steal for the Cardinals. But there's a lot of craziness right now. They have the third overall pick in this year's draft, so let's see where they go with that, and yeah, let's see what kind of stuff to do later. The Bucks. The Bucks as well, kind of in a crazy spot right now. What's the thing that I don't have on this list is that Devin White has requested a trade, and that happened 3 days ago, maybe 2 days ago, and yeah, it's just looking pretty bad for the Bucks as well. He signed Jamal Dean on a full-year, $54 million contract. To me, that's a little bit overpaid because Dean, I like him a little bit, but I would never sign him on that huge of a deal. I'll probably pay him like 10 mil, but not 15 mil, like 18 mil a year. I wouldn't do that for him. They also signed Baker Mayfield, and obviously this is a quarterback competition with Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield. And if Baker Mayfield can't take this job, man, we're going to be seeing him in the XFL in a couple of years. But it'll be good for him, if anything. And they brought back Levante David. I'm very surprised about that. I know Levante wants to stay as a Buck for life, but I just thought he would be a better fit other places. They also added Chase Edmonds, but like Chase Edmonds at this point, like he's like whatever. No offense, So that's really it for the Bucks. For the Saints. Saints did big things this year, man. Or this off season right here. They still have is it 31st or 29th? I think it's the 29th pick in this year's draft. They traded away their pick for Chris Olave for the Eagles. So they gave their first round pick last year. Wait, no, they traded up in the draft for Chris Olave. My apologies. And they gave up this year's pick, which is the ninth, I believe. So like top 10 pick. So as Saints fans, how do you feel about that? To be honest, Chris Olave or someone else in this draft? In that top 10, who would you rather have? um, but Derek Carr, he signs a 4-year, $150 million contract, bro. Absolute huge deal for Derek Carr, man. Absolutely phenomenal for Derek Carr. Jamal Williams, man. Anime boy. Signed a 1-year deal. I'm very surprised the Lions did not re-sign him. And I'm gonna be honest, man. I think it's because he watches anime and it doesn't fit their culture over there. Nah, I'm kidding. Jameis Winston, he re-signed as well, and then Michael Thomas restructured. And oh yes, I put it right there. They had the 29th pick this year. And then, like I said, man, Derek Carr, he signed a huge deal this year, man. And I put a lot of stuff here, and you look at those numbers, man. A lot of money. Not that much the first year, but it's a little guaranteed money. You got 60 mil guaranteed the first year. That's crazy. So his second year, 35 mil on cap hit. He's guaranteed 52, so you can't cut him in the second year. The third year, he has 45 mil to make in that year. He's guaranteed 17, so in a way you could cut him on the third year. Let's see how much I put. You will save 28 out of $45 million if you cut him the third year, and then the fourth year you save 44 mil out of 55. So that's a big portion right there. On the fourth year, I put he most likely get cut the last year. I don't see him getting cut the third year. If anything, he'll play out his whole contract. The Derek Carr last year obviously was not that great, but if you look at the coach who's coaching him, who has a history of not being a good coach, yeah, you just I don't know if you could put all the blame on Derek Carr. He didn't have a good old line as well over there. He's gonna have a solid one at the Saints. Might want to upgrade it a little bit, but it's pretty solid as of right now. And Derek Carr, before last season, he had one of the best seasons that he has had in a while. Was Zay Jones? Who was his receiver? Zay Jones, Brown, I want to say, that Speedy Brown. That's all I remember. Waller, obviously. Like, he didn't have any receivers, and now he has Chris Olave, Micah Thomas. He has that one guy, I forgot his name, but he's a really solid receiver. I think he was undrafted as well. You might want to get him a tight end, or you have Taysom Hill that could play that role as well, the little gadget guy. So yeah, he has weapons now, and he has a solid line, and I believe it's the offensive coordinator that's the head coach over there, so that's good for him. If it is, I don't really know 100%. But Derek Carr, he's going to be your guy for at least 3 years. The Carolina Panthers, they had a phenomenal offseason this year. They traded up for the first overall pick. They were like 6th or 7th this year, but they traded up so they could pick whatever quarterback they want. They also signed Hayden Hurst to a 3-year, 21 mil. Hayden Hurst is a really solid tight end. He could block, he could, catch, and all that stuff. Adam Thielen, a big surprise for me to sign with a rebuilding team. But I understand why he did, because as an older receiver, they become less value, and he's not getting that much money. And I believe the Panthers was probably the best offer for him. And yeah, it's just the younger guys that are in the drafts are just more valuable than a veteran receiver at this point, I believe, in the NFL. And then for Miles Sanders, he resigned, not resigned, my apologies. Miles Sanders signs to the Panthers on a 4-year, 25 mil, and that's 25 mil for 4 years. That's pretty good for the Panthers because it's not a huge contract for Miles Sanders. And Miles Sanders, he gets to reunite with Deuce Staley, who's a phenomenal running back coach, and yeah, he just gets to play with his former coaches, Deuce and Frank Wright, and then Bozeman resigns to a 3-year, 18 mil. He's a phenomenal center. And then signing DJ Chark, I predicted that because DJ Chark is just a QB friendly type of receiver. He's still young, but he's still a veteran of the game, so he's been in situations already. He understands what the NFL is about, and he could help a young quarterback, find a way. And Von Bell is a huge addition to the Panthers defense. He could play in the slot, he could play strong safety, he could play free safety. He could really do it all. He's a phenomenal steal for the Panthers. And then for the Falcons, I don't know what to make of it. You signed Jesse Bates, who's a phenomenal free safety, and I like that move. But then you re-sign Lidstorm. I don't know if he's good. I'm pretty sure he is, but I don't really know much about it. They signed David, who's a edge rusher as well. They re-signed their tackle to a 3-year, and then they traded for Juwan Smith, who is essentially the same as Kyle Pitts, and then they signed Calais Campbell. I don't know why Calais signed with the Falcons, but he did. So yeah, and the reason why I don't like it, I mean, if Chris is good, then Chris is good. You re-sign him. It's a huge contract for him. So if he's really that good, then he's the dude. But like, I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like re-signing your guys, but if they're legit like key pieces, then I understand. But I don't know much about them, so I might just leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. The Minnesota Vikings, they had a solid free agent run this year. They signed Byron Murphy on a 2-year, 22 mil. I'm very surprised that he didn't get a bigger bag because Byron Murphy is a straight up playmaker. He creates turnovers. And if you create turnovers on defense, you could get easy points for your offense and stuff like that. And they re-signed a center, Garrett, on a 3-year, $15 million. He's a solid center as well. I like that. Marcus Davenport on a one year deal for 13 mil. Davenport is a phenomenal edge rusher, and you also pair him with Hunter, and Hunter's getting a little old, but he's still a playmaker. And Alexander Madison signs a 2-year, 7 mil, and is guaranteed 6 mil. So he's already got his money. I think it might be a smart move for him because the running back market is like at its all-time low. So he's getting his money, and he's playing for the team he wants to play for. The only negative I gotta say about the Vikings is that they lost Eric Kendricks, but you know they had to make up some space, cap space. So it is what it is. All right, for the Packers, I really have nothing to say. I'm gonna be honest. That's why I just put a picture of Aaron Rodgers, man, because it's literally the Aaron Rodgers show over there at the Packers. It's really up to the GM if they want to trade Aaron Rodgers. I've been saying for I don't know how long because this thing's been going on for a while now, and it probably won't end until the end of the draft. But I said, why should I give Aaron Rodgers to the Jets for like nothing? So it's really up to the not the Panthers, the Packers to give up Aaron Rodgers. and give them up for something they want. If they want a first round pick, they could get a first round pick. They very easily could. And if the Jets don't want to give up a first round pick, then Aaron Rodgers could legit just stay on their team and he could just retire. It's that simple. I don't know why. I don't know. People think that the Packers can't do that or won't do that. I mean, if I was a GM, I would do that. Like, I don't know. It's a business at the end of the day. Like, the lowest I would go is the two second round picks that the Jets have. But that's it. I'm either taking a first round pick for the Jets or I'm taking the two second round picks. I'm not going any lower than that. So the Jets are either going to give that up or they're not going to get Aaron Rodgers and their whole, you know, fantasy of having this elite quarterback and becoming a playoff contender, a Super Bowl contender, would just be thrown in the trash right after that. And I think that would be funny, to do to the Jets. Putting all their money on one guy that they don't even have. And then the Lions. The Lions had a pretty solid offseason as well. They signed David Montgomery, which was a huge surprise to me, but is very understandable because they let Jamal Williams walk, and that's probably why they let him walk because they're like, oh, Jamal Williams is kind of on the older side as well, and let's be honest, Montgomery is way better than Jamal, and he's younger. And yeah, that's really it. To be honest, C.J. Gardner-Johnson signs on a 1 year, 8 mil. After his agent said he could get more money, so he had to sign a 1 year because he couldn't get that money. And then they re-signed their middle linebacker. I think that was a really good signing. He has been playing very good for the Lions the past couple of years. And then they bring back Marvin Jones. I felt like Marvin Jones really wanted to go to the Rams to play with Matt Stafford again, but the Rams are just on fire. They they don't know what to do. They they're just everywhere, just like the Cardinals. So he re-signed with the I was gonna say the team that he started with, but he started with the Bengals. But I think like the team he really left, he did stuff, as a community and all that stuff. So Marvin Jones, I'm pretty sure he's pretty close to hanging him up. Marvin Jones is a really good receiver to watch. He makes crazy catches. And yeah, he comes back home to the Lions in Detroit. The Bears, just like the Panthers, made a lot of moves. So the Bears traded their first overall pick, and they gained DJ Moore and a nice pick from the Panthers. And yeah, they got something out of the first overall pick, and then they signed Edmonds on a 4-year deal, $72 million contract, 50 mil guaranteed. They also signed TJ Edwards on a 30-year, 19.5 mil. I didn't like that contract at first, but I looked at it. It's actually not a bad contract. You could cut him after this year, I believe. So it's a pretty solid contract. Um, huh. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Because he's guaranteed 12. So if you cut him, you basically gave up. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. But Nate Davis, that's a very big steal for them. Solid left guard, great at run blocking. Um, 30 mil, 19 guaranteed. And then they got their tight end and Robert Tunya. They actually have, what was it called? Um, Clement? Yeah, his name's Clement. I don't know why it's so hard for me to think about him. But they have Clement as well. So here's Edmonds' contract. Gets the first year 14 mil, second year 22 mil, third year 17, and then the last year 17 as well. And then it's very front heavy. He's guaranteed a lot of money the first 2 years, and then it's basically gone the last 4 years. So he's guaranteed a lot of money front heavy contract. And that's probably why he signed. He's gaining a lot of money. The these two these 2 years, this year and next year, he's getting a lot of money. The Washington Commanders franchise tagged Deron Payne and later signed him to a 4-year, $90 million contract. Big contract for Payne and well deserved. They also signed Nick Gates, who was a former Giants left guard, and to a 3-year, 16.5 mil, maximum of 18. They also claimed Cameron Dantzler, who's a solid corner, definitely could play in the NFL. Off of waivers, he played for the Vikings previously. And then they re-signed Andrew Wiley to a 3-year, 24 mil. Alright, so kind of like Edmonds' contract, Payne is getting a lot of guaranteed money in the first 2 years, so you won't be able to cut him in the first 2 years. Basically, not even the third year, because 26 in cap space, 25, so you only make up 1 mil, so it's not even worth cutting him in the third year of the contract. And then the fourth year, yeah, nah, he's legit for sure gonna be there the whole through, fulfilling his contract, Maybe trade him at some point, but the way the contract's made, he's most likely gonna play through it all. And the only question for me for the Commanders is how are they gonna pay Chase Young, because they paid Payne right now. They have Jonathan Allen. They have one. They have Sweat. I'm assuming Sweat is not gonna get re-signed after this year. They're gonna move on for him, and it's Chase Edmonds. I think that's left, right? I think that's it. So maybe they could still do it, but I think Sweat is probably the odd man out from that phenomenal defensive line. Philadelphia Eagles. They re-signed James Bradbury on a 3-year, 38 mil. He's coming off of a poor. I mean, the whole defense really did not play up to par in the Super Bowl. That may be because of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and what's his name, Eric the Enemy or B Enemy, or it could just be just them. And then they re-signed Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, Boston Scott, all to 1-year deals. They're gonna go for one more ride. Hopefully they make it to the Super Bowl. That's what their intent is. And then they also signed Greedy Williams, Terrell. I might have missed the L to be honest. Look right, Edmonds' brother, Justin Evans, Rashad Penny. And Rashad Penny is a big time signing for them. He's a speedy, powerful back. He just gets hurt. He hasn't been healthy his whole career. And then they they signed Marcus Mariota, and everybody saw it when Minshew came in as a backup to step up for Jalen Hurts' injury. Minshew just didn't look like he was capable of running that Jalen Hurts style offense. So now they get a quarterback who's mobile and has the height to run that offense. And all those guys signed a 1-year deal. And then Nicholas Monroe, I put him by himself because this is a big time signing. No one's really talking about him. Obviously, he didn't get a huge amount of money. If you look at his stats, man, the guy puts up numbers in the tackle, category, and that's what the Eagles need. They need a tackle machine, someone that just could stop the run, because that's what beat them against the Chiefs. Daniel Jones signed a 4-year, 160 mil contract. A huge contract for a guy that realistically only played one great season, but it's with the new coaching staff. And at first, I really thought this contract was horrible, but it's okay. You know, he's still getting paid a lot of money, like 40 mil or something like that, a year if you keep him, like if he plays through the whole contract. But you could cut him after this season if necessary. You know, if he doesn't play to what you expect him to do, or if he is just not great, you could very easily just move on from him. You're just paying him 40 mil this year. And then Saquon Barkley franchise tag. I definitely did not agree with the Giants' moves because I felt like Saquon Barkley is more a valuable asset to the Giants because he is legitimately their whole offense. And I know the running back position is not that great, but Saquon has done everything the Giants have asked him to do, and it's just, I don't know, kind of like a blindside hit for Saquon. Even though at this point as a running back you're probably not gonna get what you want, you know. But yeah, he also turned down the franchise tag, so I don't know what the repercussions for the Giants is for him doing that. I don't know if like he's a free agent or if he has to like find a trade and then he was, you know, signed or whatever. But yeah, so he denied his franchise tag, and yeah, so that's a whole thing for the Giants right now. And then they traded for Waller for a third round pick, an absolute steal for the Giants. They need a all around tight end. That's a position they just haven't had since Evan Ingram, but Evan Ingram and like Evan Ingram for them wasn't playing that great. At some games he was kind of like up and down for them. He would play phenomenal, then he would play below average and stuff like that for the Giants. So a great pickup for them getting Waller, who was hurt all last season. But to be honest, it looks like he could have played. He just wanted to sit out because the Raiders were just all over the place, and he was getting paid either way. They re-signed Darius Slayton to a 2-year, 12 mil. It's a solid contract for him. He's a pretty good receiver. That's really all I gotta say about Slayton. They signed Bobby Okoreke. They say it differently. I don't know how you say it. I remember the announcers going over it, so my bad if I didn't say it properly. 4 years, 40 mil, and I'm pretty disappointed for the Giants because I felt like they could have got a bigger name, middle linebacker if they really wanted to with the money that they had, but decided to give it to Bobby Okoreke. So he's pretty young still. He's still a raw talent as well. He's one of those guys that has only played football for a handful of years, and he's played phenomenal with that experience. So he can only get better, and I think that's basically what the Giants are banking on for him. The Dallas Cowboys, them boys, franchise tag Tony Pollard. They traded for Brandon Cooks with pick exchanges, one for this year's 5th round pick and next year's 6th round pick. They re-signed Leighton Van Rush to a 2-year, 11 mil. And honestly, pretty disappointing in Van Rush because he's a solid middle linebacker. You can get to the ball and make some tackles, make plays and stuff like that. But he does have that injury history, so 11 mil for him, I guess, is what he's gonna get. Trading for Stephon Diggs, exchange for 5th round picks as well. So you know their 5th round pick is kind of everywhere. They re-signed Wilson to a 3-year, 24 mil. He's their free safety, I believe. And yeah, Stephon Gilmore, obviously, he has been a phenomenal receiver. And is this year is this the year where we finally see his age affect his game? We'll see this season. Hope the Dallas Cowboys are hoping it doesn't. They're trying to bank on that he still has that youth in him and is able to hold his ground against the number one receivers. We'll see against. We'll see that. And then Brandon Cooks, he has had injury, you know, concerns, concussions and all that. They were questioning or basically wanting him to retire because he kept getting knocked out on like hits that weren't really like impactful, but obviously to his brain and all that stuff, it was because he would just go to sleep. But last year he didn't get hurt. He decided to sit out and stuff like that. So it's good for him. He went through a full season, and yeah, Tony Pollard is coming off injury as well. Sucks for him. Hopefully he can come back and play as good as he did. The Los Angeles Chargers, they re-signed their huge tight end in Parham Jr. to a 2-year, 2.6 mil. They also re-signed Troy Pickens, 3-year, 21 mil. And they also re-signed Morgan Fox, 2 years, 7.25. And they signed Eric Kendricks, 2 years, 13.25. And Eric Kendricks barely got cut from the Vikings. A surprise cut, but the Vikings needed cap space, so they had to do it. And the Chargers got a linebacker who could lead their defense. Jacoby Myers signs a 3-year, 33 mil to the Raiders. After all that, whole thing happened with them. Franchise tagged Josh Jacobs. They also signed Jimmy G, 3 years, 72.75. That's a huge contract for him. Marcus Epps signed a 2-year, 12 mil. It's a solid contract for a guy like that. Signed Jerry Tillery, 2-year, 6.8 mil. They also signed 2 tight ends in Austin Hooper and O.J. Howard to both 1-year deals. Obviously, because they lost Waller and what's his name? Their other tight end found cancer, and he's obviously has to take time off to get his body right. And all prayers go to him because cancer is never a joke, and it's just a good thing that he caught it early. Because it's better to do that stuff. And hopefully he gets better and is able to compete again in the NFL. And yeah, Jimmy G's 3-year contract. Looking at it right now, it's actually not that bad because you actually, you know, cut him in the second year, you'll save 10 mil. He's also guaranteed 33 mil in the first year, and yeah, it's a solid contract for him for a guy that plays good when he's like there, but he gets hurt all the time. It's Jimmy G. Not the best quarterback, but not the worst. So at least something. Chiefs, they signed Jawan Taylor to a 4-year, 80 mil. It's a flat contract, so that means he's gonna receive a consistent amount of money. There will never be a extended version like him getting a higher amount than last year or a lower amount. His is completely flat. He will get the same amount of money every year. And they also signed Mike Edwards, 1 year, 3 mil. And they signed oh the Chargers linebacker, bro. That he's pretty solid. The Chiefs obviously have their guys in Bolton and Gay, and they might have one other person, but this guy's a speedy guy. He also will come in on probably like third and longs, receiving package or throwing package or whatever. Jawan Taylor, he's been playing right tackle his whole career in the NFL. I think he played left tackle a little bit in Florida, but I think the majority of his snaps in Florida were at the right tackle. So the Chiefs are hoping he can move to left tackle and protect Patrick Mahomes. on that left side. But to be honest, Patrick Mahomes, he's great throwing on to the right, rolling out and throwing. So I think that's what the Chiefs are okay with. That Jawan Taylor just needs to slow down his guy. He just can't get completely destroyed and give up a free hit on Mahomes. He just needs to slow down that left edge rusher, and Mahomes will just do his thing. He'll roll out to his right or step up and make a play. So that's what happens when you have a great quarterback in Mahomes. The Broncos signed Mike McLaughlin on a 5-year contract, 87.5 mil. Well deserved contract. This guy's a beast. That's what signed Ben Powers. He's also a beast. So they're really getting protection for Russell Wilson. Because last year, again, it's been like not necessarily Russell's show, but like him getting destroyed every year. And then Zach Allen, he was from the Cardinals. He's an edge rusher, 3-year. It's a pretty big contract for him, but they get an edge rusher because they don't have one at all because they traded what's his name Chubbs, and they signed Callaway. He's from the Saints, jump ball machine. And then Chris Manhurst, a blocking tight end. So again, getting more protection for Russell Wilson, and also Manhurst could probably pass block for bootlegs and all that stuff. The Tennessee Titans, they signed Andrew Dillard on a 3-year, 29 mil. Dillard hasn't really gotten any snaps because he's playing behind Lane Johnson and Maladu on the Eagles, and those guys are the one of the best tackles to do it in the game right now. And then they signed Arden Key, 3-year, 21 mil. Arden Key was a kind of like a role player for Jacksonville. He would go in at certain downs, but every time he was in there, he got pressure on the quarterback. So a pretty good steal for the Titans to pick up Arden Key. And then they signed Shurry from the 49ers on 1-year, 51 mil. And this guy is a heavy hitter, run stuffing linebacker. And then the sleeper one I got right here is literally Sean Murphy Bunting, bro. This guy, I think, he's been hurt the past 2 years, but the guy's still pretty solid. He can play in the slot, he can play outside. Still really good corner, and this is a pretty good pickup. They got Arden Key, and those 3 guys I just said right now are pretty solid pickups for the tight ends. Not gonna lie. The Jaguars were pretty quiet this offseason. They franchise tagged Evan Ingram. They re-signed Roy Robinson Harris to a 3-year, 30 mil. Re-signed CJ Beathard, 2-year, 4.5. And they got Johnson from the Browns, and he had that one good season for the Browns. So they added him to the running back room for Jacksonville. Samson and Beckham signed a 3-year, 27 mil for the Colts. Gardner Minshew also signed a 1-year deal, fully guaranteed, 3.5 mil. EJ Speed re-signed a 2-year, 9 mil. He played very good for them for special teams and filling in for injured players. Signed Isaiah McKenzie, so that's another special teams player who could return punts for them. And Gardner Minshew is probably just a guy there for them. I don't know if they have another quarterback on the roster besides Gardner Minshew. I don't know if Matt Ryan's still there. I don't think he is, but yeah, so they still need a quarterback. The Texans extended Larry Tunsil to a 3-year, 75 mil contract. Larry Tunsil's been playing pretty good over there as a pass protector on the left tackle position. They traded for Shaq Mason, giving up this year's 6th-round pick. They got Robert Woods, a veteran receiver, a route running, what do you call it, a route running gadget type of guy, 15.5. He can run block too. They signed Devin Singletary, Dalton Schultz, Rakins, and Ridgeway to all 1-year deals. Obviously, the big name Dalton Schultz. He played phenomenal for the Cowboys each and every year. Surprised the Cowboys did not re-sign him, but that's because the draft class of the tight end position is really stacked. But he goes to the Texans and to whatever rookie quarterback is. As you can see, they got the line with Shaq Mason, an older guard, but he could still play. And then standing Laramie Tunsil, so they got pass protection for whatever rookie quarterback they select. And they got Dalton Schultz to be that tight end for him. The Steelers, they signed Sam Allu, the right guard from the Philadelphia Eagles, to a 3-year, $24 million. They also signed Larry Achibari, a 3-year, $28. They signed, to be honest, a really good pickup for them. I didn't know he was a free agent, but Cole Holcomb, a 3-year, $18 million, so still of a pickup for the Steelers. Patrick Peterson signed a 2-year, $14 million, so they got a veteran corner on the defensive side of the ball. The Cleveland Browns signed Thornhill to a 3-year, $21 million contract. Tomlinson signed a 4-year, $51 million. He's a run-stuffing D tackle. They also traded for Elijah Moore. They gave up a second-round pick, but they gained a third-round pick in return. So that's a pretty good steal for the Cleveland Browns, getting a speedy receiver and gaining a third-round pick in the trade. The Cincinnati Bengals signed Orlando Brown to a 4-year, $64 million. A complete steal for the Bengals. You're getting Joe Burrow, a left tackle, getting him some protection. They also signed Pratt to a 3-year, $21 million. They signed Irv Smith and Sidney Jones, 1-year deals. Sidney Jones could play in the slot or outside, but most likely going to be in the slot. And then Irv Smith is a receiving tight end. Has been hurt the past couple of years, and let's see if he can do something with Joe Burrow. The Ravens franchise tagged Lamar Jackson, and obviously Lamar Jackson is not having it. He has not requested a trade yet. Oh, wait, he has. He has requested a trade. They signed Odell Beckham Jr., so that's probably calmed Lamar Jackson down a little bit. But obviously, he still wants the contract that he wants, and not the contract that the Ravens are offering him. So there's still a little bit of tension between the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. And yeah, so it's still ongoing. They signed Nelson Aguilar. Oh my bad, Nelson No Hands Aguilar, 1-year, $3.25 million. But he's a speedy receiver. He can run routes as well. And then they signed Mullen, the corner, 1-year deal. And they got OBJ at least. All right, the Jets. Quincy Williams re-signed to a 3-year, $18 million, maximum of $21 million. He played phenomenal for the Jets. Played fast. He made his tackles. He did everything right for the Jets. Solomon Thomas signed a 1-year deal, $3.9 million, and they signed Hardman as well, a speedy receiver that could get over the top, or should be able to get over the top because he has that 4.3 speed. For $6.5 million. They signed Lazard to a 4-year, $40 million. And they're currently still trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers. Nothing has happened. Like I said, I think last time, the trade is literally going to probably get done at the draft. It should get done at the draft because obviously the Packers want picks. The Packers want either the Jets' first round pick or something either less than that. But they want picks for the draft. And then I made this when OBJ didn't sign. They were looking to sign OBJ. I really thought OBJ was going to sign, but OBJ not signing obviously means the Aaron Rodgers thing is less likely to happen because if Aaron Rodgers would sign, I'm pretty sure Odell Beckham would want to sign with the Jets too. So he went to the Ravens, so that means, no one's budging, I don't think. Patriots. The Patriots signed Juju Smith-Schuster, TikTok Lord, to a 3-year, 25.5 mil up to 33 mil. They signed James Robinson as well to a 2-year, 8 mil. Re-signed Jonathan Jones and Jamal Peppers to 2-year contract deals, both of them. They also signed Mike Gesicki to a 1-year deal. And currently the Patriots are going through, do they want to start Zappy or do they want Mac Jones? They don't really know. So things are going on over there in New England. The Dolphins traded for Jalen Ramsey, only giving up a 3rd-round pick. So they have 2 elite cornerbacks. So they have a duo, a legit duo. They signed David Long Jr., who's a phenomenal linebacker. So they got interior guys. And they re-signed both of their guys, Jeff Wilson and Rasheem Mostert, to 2-year deals. This is a phenomenal free agent season for the Dolphins. Matt Milano re-signed to a 2-year extension, 28 mil. They signed Damian Harris to a 1-year deal. They also re-signed Jordan Poyer to a 2-year deal, 12 mil. They signed Tyler Rapp. Tyler Rapp is a really solid safety. He's good. He could play because they like to, have an extra DB on the field, so they could have Tyler Rapp play that position. And then Dante Hart, I think he's a special teams player, so because they lost McKenzie, so they got that special teams player now. And yeah, well, that is it. That was a long, a lot of teams to go through as well. 32 teams to talk about. Um, Next time I'll probably break it down into divisions, two divisions per video, so I don't have to put an hour-long video. But I just have to get this out there because I've had this for a quick minute. So yeah, I apologize for the lengthy video. And honestly, you guys will probably just skip to your favorite team and just look at what's been done and all that stuff. And I hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe. And I thank you for watching either like 10 seconds or the whole video. I appreciate every view. And thank you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.